Wake up this morning trying to keep up on all the news so we could bring it to you, and we're greeted by this statement. It's a widespread massacre. And I'm going to tell you right now, that is an understatement. Grief counselors called in. Preparations underway for the next attack. What just occurred? It permeated through all of D.C. It appears no one's safe right now. And we're going to bring you the details of exactly what that means in just 1 minute. Donald Trump has triggered something beyond imagination. It wraps in so many of the players, including this band that we're going to speak about a little bit later in this broadcast, but the details are critical. Washington Post publishing that, quote, it's a widespread massacre, but it goes, again, far beyond that. I know how hard it is to keep up on everything that's occurring. We're going to do our darndest to make sure we can bring you everything that made a difference over the last 24 hours, even over the last 12. And I'm sure during this broadcast, things are going to change further, and I'll be trying to keep an eye on it. But where are we going to start? It's always the question, right? You're not the only one who's exhausted. No, Jake Tapeworm's exhausted too. What didn't Trump do this week, he stated? He didn't torpedo the economies of Canada, and he didn't stop the war in Ukraine yet. Yet is the key word, but we go far beyond that because we got to go through the updates so everything is framed in correctly. Hope you got to see this, a major victory for Trump.
If not, on this vote, the yeas are 50 and the nays are 50. The Senate being equally divided, the Vice President votes in the affirmative, and the nomination is confirmed.
The nomination of Pete Hegseth has been confirmed by the Senate. Major news, and J.D. Vance, quoting, I thought I was done voting in the Senate. No, J.D., I have a feeling after McConnell and Murkowski turn on us again that you're going to be voting a little bit more than you would have expected. But nonetheless, Pete Hegseth advances forward. We are watching updating news on Kristi Noem, expected and hoping to beat the Senate confirmation hurdle today. She gets into a vote expected to be today. But man, there's a lot of stuff changing. Do you know what you're looking at on your screen? It's part of what occurred last night. A major update. Something that makes D.C. go dark. Grief counselors literally brought in. I can't even go to express the depth of this story. But before I advance it any further, huge favor, at least wanted me to make sure that you're still subscribed to the channel. If you're new here, welcome home. Make sure you subscribe. We got another channel. She'll put a link to above. Love you to be there. It's my channel. And if you want all the news, you want to find us in one place, this is what we spend our hard-earned money on. You see, we put it always back into news. RestrictedRepublic.com. Unfiltered, uncensored, no commercials, no interruptions, beholden to no one because we own it. And we did that on purpose. Because there's news that, of course, before was always called conspiracy, not true. You couldn't speak about it. But guess what? Comes out now it was all true, wasn't it? And there's going to be a lot more breaking. Just look at what we're going to talk about a little bit later with the JFK files that are going to come out. What they were so worried about hiding from you. Well, that's all the good little bits you get at RestrictedRepublic.com. Annual, monthly subscriptions available to you. 14 days to check out the platform absolutely on us. The best part is you can go on your dashboard and cancel anytime. We don't hold people hostage. We know the material and the content we provide will keep you there for a long time to come. You don't need all those notifications chirping off in your phone like we get every day, because we will make sure we go through each and every one of them and bring you what's important. Support us there, please. Support us today. And come and be a part of the family. You're going to be shocked at what you find. It will be the best investment you will make today. RestrictedRepublic.com. And now let's get back on with this broadcast. So what are you seeing on your screen? A response from Mexico, scrambling to build their own tent cities. Why? Because they know about the unprecedented response of President Donald J. Trump, period. It's already in motion. to a degree that the left never wanted to see. This notification coming out of Mexico, repatriation strategy begins because they know a lot of folks are going to be coming back home. Deportation flights have already begun. And of course, Mexico is trying to block their landing. That's not going to work really well. Don't saber rattle with Donald J. Trump right now. He is not playing games. Inside the first week of Trump's mammoth migrant roundup, and the rapist and murderers heading home. So far, arresting over 2,000 people as reported right now. Again, that number, like everything else, will continue to change. He's everywhere. Some he's telling you overtly, some he's not telling you covertly. He knows the enemy he faces. It is deeply seated within the United States government, but here's another look inside of exactly what's to come.
And this is just the very beginning in the effort to liberate this country from the migrant criminal threat. In the coming days, you're going to see a massive scale up in enforcement activities all across the country to dismantle these criminal networks. And not only is it going to be ICE engaging these raids, but also they're going to have support from their law enforcement partners in FBI, ATF, DEA, and U.S. Marshals. We're going to...
Wow. That's an effort, an understatement. But it's, again, part of what Trump promised us. And in my opinion, he's already going above and beyond that promise, but that doesn't mean the work stops. Department of Defense orders 1,500 troops, additional assets to the southern border. Promise made, promise kept. You see, they're reinforcing the border wall. You can watch as military assets continue to roll into the border as we once again make this nation secure. Build our sovereignty. He's doing what he said he was going to do. Osprey's landing just outside of San Diego. It is a full force frontal shock and awe campaign at every level. And when we get to the final details of this, he went again above and beyond expectation. I will show you even more insight to the depth of this plan. Now, there's several things he has to deal with at the local level, but local affects federal, doesn't it?
I'll also be signing an executive order to begin the process of fundamentally reforming and overhauling FEMA, or maybe getting rid of FEMA. I think, frankly, FEMA is not good.
Wow. North Carolina, California. Announcements rolling out everywhere. Him being able to roll in the Army Corps of Engineers. Him giving assets that should have been given months and months ago. And doing it immediately. Why didn't the Biden administration do that, huh? But he doesn't stop there. Again, federal and local attack is on. Trump destroys embattled L.A. Mayor Karen Bass, and they go in a fiery exchange. Listen in here for just one moment.
And we are 100% committed to getting this neighborhood rebuilt again. You mentioned a couple of things in terms of us expediting. So I signed executive directives right away so that we could cut the red tape. We could get people back building as fast as possible. And we're going to continue doing it.
Well, you signed it when you finally decided to come back. Let's be a little bit clear there, Mayor Bass.
That.
Mayor, the one thing is they are saying they will not be allowed to start for 18 months.
No, that will not be the case.
Okay, I just hope you're right.
You can hold me to it.
There's 4 groups said that.
No.
That would be they should be able to do it. They should be able to start tonight.
That will not be the case. You know, first we have to take care to make sure that there's not getting rid of the hazardous waste, cleaning things up. We absolutely need your help. We need the federal help. You're a builder.
You've got it. I told you. You will have no permit problem. There will be 0 delay. And as far as I'm concerned, you already have the permits.
And the resources.
I am more worried because I met at least 8 groups of homeowners, and I'm much more worried about the fact that they said it's 18 months exactly, and they were devastated. They want to start now. They want to start removing things. They're not allowed to do it now. And you mentioned hazardous waste. Well, the hazardous waste. What's hazardous waste? I mean, you're going to have to define that. We're going to go through a whole series of questions on determining what's hazardous.
Nope.
I just think you have to allow the people to go on their site and start the process tonight.
And we will.
Okay, good.
You can come back and check.
You could come back and check, he states. Well, he's not going to have to come back and check because there's going to be other people checking. Did you notice in that press conference, though, someone was missing? Someone who should be important to the state of California, I guess. None other than Shifty Schiff. He wasn't there now, was he? No, and Trump spoke on that, too.
I was told that Schiff was going to travel with us to California. I wasn't thrilled, to be honest with you. And I saw him last night on television. It looks like he got hit with a baseball bat or something. What happened to him?
You know what Trump's referring to there? In case you missed it, that's what happened to him. Not looking so good now, is he? Of course, he continues to take his shots. He embattled Adam Schiff, and I feel that that battle's just beginning for him.
Some of his other actions, weakening California water and air quality standards. Drill, baby, drill, this idea that we are going to just do more oil drilling, the attacks on the incentives for electric cars, that's not going to reduce prices either. It's just going to mean we have dirtier air, we have more terrible fires, more flooding.
Wasn't your job to help prevent those fires? I guess we're just going to look by that now, Adam, huh? These guys can't even speak truth. They have no idea how to speak truth. They were never any check and balance in the Biden administration. None whatsoever, and that goes to the heart of this story. Absolute heart of this story. And how does it start? I've covered this all week long, right? Trump's just beginning. This is just the groundswell. People are calling this shock and awe. Oh, wait until the plan is fully executed. Here's another element of it just announced yesterday.
Kind of go after local officials who get in the way of President Trump's immigration orders.
It's a pretty significant directive, the fact that DOJ is directing all 93 U.S. attorneys' offices across the country to investigate and possibly prosecute any state or local actor who interferes in federal law enforcement, enforcing the laws on the books, and not just enforcing immigration law, but any requests from the federal government or the like. So think about what that could mean. And what's especially interesting about the directive is that if an office declines to prosecute, say, an actor or a state official who is resisting what the Trump administration is doing, they actually have to put it in writing in an urgent memo that goes straight to the AG.
I can't tell you the depth of that. Just imagine now. Anyone who does anything across the country to interfere in the federal law enforcement activities of the deportation effort must be directed immediately to those U.S. attorney generals and prosecuted. And if there is any memo, any resistance, anything coming from federal, or you decide for whatever reason to not enforce it, you have to write a letter directly to the U.S. Attorney General, hence giving them the exact blueprint. And if you don't, you're in violation of this order. That is the biggest pair of handcuffs I have ever seen placed on everyone who could so decide to go against Donald J. Trump. That is a genius outline of how to assure these orders are followed, or those to go against the Trump agenda to be identified and to be prosecuted. Monster, mega announcement. Trump ousted at least 12 independent inspector generals in late night purge. So now we have thousands on top of thousands getting flights back home. We have 12 independent inspectors being massacred overnight. And by the way, the majority of those inspectors taken out yesterday were Trump appointees. He's learned his lesson. Most of those dismissed were Trump appointees from his first term, which stunned the watchdog community. One prominent inspector general survived the purge, Michael Horowitz, the only one. At the Justice Department, a President Barack Obama appointee has issued the reports critical of both the Biden administration and Trump's first administration. It's a widespread massacre, Washington Post reported. DC's on blackout. They're in panic mode right now. They're getting hit from every angle. Even if they attempted to defuse some of these, they can't defuse all of them. It is truly a shock and awe campaign. Whoever Trump puts in now will be viewed as a loyalist, and I hope so. Because the Lash regime certainly did well for us, didn't they? It's a widespread massacre, said one of the fired inspector generals. What just happened? What just happened? You've been identified as counter to the America First agenda. People calling this a bloodbath brought on by MAGA. I'm going to show you that article in a second. Ukraine in shock. How dare Marco Rubio stop all foreign aid, put on pause until it can be reviewed. And we're going to see more of this. Hegseth in his seat. We'll see more of this. Noem in her seat. We'll see more of this. Bondi confirmed. We'll see more of this. Radcliffe already confirmed. We'll see more of this. Every single department is being scrutinized. And those inspector generals who were to investigate those departments did a piss poor job. And now guess what? They're on the outside looking in. And this is only the first wave of attacks. Wait till the follow-up. Because Trump isn't done opening the eyes of every American. Now we here on this have reported this for years. But this declassification will serve to the general American public a wake-up call. That those deep state agents that now the mainstream media finally calls deep state, and they go a lot deeper than you think, and they've done a lot worse things than you could imagine. So by declassifying the JFK, RFK, and MLK assassination files, Trump is doing something else. He is putting out to the public exactly the understanding of why he will completely dismantle the CIA, the FBI, FEMA, all these organizations. This comic always resonates with me. What is JFK reading there? And stating that he can't approve. And then dismissing the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. According to documents ordered declassified by the Assassination Records Review Board, the Joint Chief of Staff in 1962 approved a plan codenamed Operation Northwoods to create a pretext, of course, for an invasion of Cuba. Now, this would connect a lot of dots with this declassification, and we hope there is no black lines. There will always be a few. What was it exactly? The Joint Chiefs recommended developing a terror campaign in Miami, Washington, D.C., and elsewhere, which they would blame Cuba. Creating a disaster and a diversion to blame an opposition political party on something that you have incited. Wow. That can draw some modern-day parallels now, couldn't it? This is the document, declassified. Justification for U.S. military intervention in Cuba. Now, JFK stood against this. You're not going to hurt Americans to incite or to promote a war against Cuba. So what will we see about Lee Harvey Oswald? What will we see about Hinckley? What will we see about the alleged Cuban that was involved in this? This will blow open the intelligence apparatus. It will show and plant the seed of permanent doubt in American minds that any of these agencies can exist in their current state. There is nothing more deplorable than even suggesting any American is hurt to promote a further war. And so we will wait, and we will analyze what new data we get off of this declassification. I love this headline by Daily Mail. They did a great job here. Chilling Pentagon document reveals war-provoking reason deep state has always feared release of JFK assassination files, according to Daily Mail. Chilling Pentagon documents may reveal why the deep state has always feared the release of the JFK assassination files. A 12-page report signed by the Joint Chief of Staff in 1962 details a secret plan to commit heinous acts against American citizens to justify war with Cuba in 1960, codenamed Operation Northwoods. This top-secret plot proposed enacting terrorism on U.S. cities in what is known as a false flag operation before blaming Cuba in order to fool the Americans into supporting war efforts to oust communist Fidel Castro. Won't that turn the security apparatus upside down? As if it's not going to get turned upside down already. Everything's being disrupted right now. The Hyde Amendment put back in full effect. What does that mean? No federal tax dollars will fund elective abortion, period. The Biden administration disregarded this established Hyde Amendment completely. Trump just put it back in. The Ice Maiden has struck again. Elon wanted a desk within yards of Donald J. Trump, and her answer was no. You can have the building across the street. Now, Elon's wanted to take a very centralized role in this administration, but the Ice Princess, well, she was very clear from the beginning. Let's jump to that article before I read this. Axios interview. Susan Wiles vows to block West Wing troublemakers. What did she state? I don't welcome people who want to work solo or be a star. Wiles, whose boss calls her the Ice Maiden, said by email, my team and I will not tolerate backbiting, second-guessing inappropriately, or drama. These are counterproductive to the mission. So it shouldn't serve as any surprise that she blocks Elon Musk from getting that desk. Wiles, a 67-year-old veteran of GOP politics, saw her first victory on Trump's first day in office when he confirmed Musk would not have a desk in the West Wing. Musk was reportedly pushing for his own room just yards from the Oval Office, but his Doge team will instead be based in the Eisenhower building, which is across the road from the White House. The chief administrator of Doge must also report to Wiles, a sign of her control over the White House, and she is helping in every way, shape, and form to keep Donald J. Trump to act as that little person on his shoulder. Let's analyze this before we do it. You'd made some mistakes prior in who you appointed. Let me act as the guardian and to provide you maybe counter-suggestion as to the direction you're going. But he's going to have a lot of folks sitting there on his shoulder now, isn't he? And I'm going to show you a series of tweets here. So important to the apparatus, it's even tough to explain until we read them. He's already blacked out the CDC, the FDA, the NIH in this, what the agencies are calling this MAGA bloodbath, this widespread massacre. All it is a cleaning house. You see, I'm sure many read the title and were excited. What happened? Somebody hurt the administration. Oh no, the administration is hurting them by removing them from their positions, blacking out their correspondence until he has a chance to get his people in, and they will further clean house. Trump administration freezes many health agency reports and online posts. Yeah, we don't want you speaking right now. You're not going to go against the agenda. And no one can keep up with this. But this is just, again, the sliver, the very tip of the iceberg, the tip of the spear, call it what you will. This was one of the most eye-opening threads that I've seen in a long time. Inside the massive Trump DOJ shakeup, you'd need to know about a thread that will blow your mind. I'll read it for you because I know the text is a little small. Let me tell you what's really happening behind closed doors at DOJ right now. 20 career officials sidelined overnight. Security clearances stripped. This is just the beginning. Trump team isn't waiting for Senate confirmations. They're moving now, pushing out long-term prosecutors who've been there for years. These are people who've been politicizing justice for years, no longer. The Merrick Garland reign of terror is over. The purge is hitting every major division: criminal division, national security division, international affairs. Here's the genius part. They found a loophole to make this stick. Federal regulations generally protect career employees from being reassigned for at least 120 days after new leadership takes over. But Pam Bondi hasn't been confirmed yet. The firings are coming from the acting AG, and that there bypasses a rule. It gets even better. Ed Martin, yes, the Stop the Steal organizer, is now DC's acting U.S. attorney. Just let that sink in for a minute, and you should let it sink in. No one more loyal to Trump. No one who knows better for every corrupt corner of the government what to look for. And he is the acting U.S. attorney, and he is dismissing everyone. So what's his record? He's the leader of the Eagle Forum, wants total abortion ban, zero exceptions for rape and incest, fought to expose all the election information in 2020, defended J6 political prisoners, and he is steering the ship until Pam Bondi gets in. Meanwhile, in New York, John Durham's son, yes, John Durham, takes over EDNY. Dad investigated the origins of the Russia collusion hoax. Son has gone after illegal aliens, including MS-13 gang members. You see, the structure is being put in place. Meanwhile, the all-important SDNY gets Danielle Sassoon. The prosecutor took down the Sam Bankman-Fried and prominent sex trafficker. She even clerked for Justice Scalia. Now that's a track record we want in. Do you see how deep this is going? And we don't even have Kash Patel in next week. It is now confirmed he will go through his hearing, and then the FBI shakeup begins, because they haven't even touched that yet. Tom Ferguson, who worked for Jim Jordan on investigating the weaponization of government, is back at the FBI. They're already starting. They're not waiting for the confirmations. He spent 22 years there. He knows what to look for. What does Ferguson's LinkedIn reveal? He hates woke ideology. He fights socialism. He says the FBI forgot their oath. Now he's back in charge as part of the new FBI leadership, and he will remain after Kash Patel takes the helm. Christopher Wray, gone. Paul Abadi, retired. The people who weaponize law enforcement against half the country are falling like dominoes. It's a widespread massacre. This is what draining the swamp looks like in real time. And I've been telling you all weeks, heads are finally rolling. Deep State tried to end them, and he's taking no prisoners. This isn't just a shakeup, it's a complete overhaul of our justice system. It's going to be a complete overhaul of every branch of government. It's the only way to restore equal justice. It's long overdue, and we're watching it happen in real time. That was from Rod Martin, and that should go to show you exactly how deep this goes. Every branch of government, every career official that served against the America First agenda is being rooted out. Trump and his team will identify each and every one. But not only on the federal level now. No, you heard through that prior announcement that they have directed every state attorney general to start searching, to report back to the mothership exactly what's happening. Anyone who goes against this agenda will be identified, and I am checking the news because I am waiting for the announcement. Oh, the Senate forces Saturday vote to push through Kristi Noem as Homeland Security Chief. We'll be waiting for that announcement to be made official. I am hoping tomorrow in our update it will be there. There is so much to report. Oh, I forgot to mention to you, by the way. This is so bad that the Democrats have called in grief counselors. None other than Jamie Raskin. During a retreat last week for Judiciary Democrats, Raskin, a new ranking member of the key panel, hosted Jim Cohn, a University of Virginia professor of psychology, and Hal Movius, a consultant who specializes in negotiation, influence, emotion regulation, leadership, and organizational development. The purpose of the session, according to the multiple attendees, was to counsel Democrats about how to approach conflict and effectively combat what Raskin described as authoritarian styles of speech, because you didn't implement that during your administration. The most authoritarian administration that has ever existed. Dissenting opinions were not allowed. As a matter of fact, didn't your White House write to the tech titans telling them that it was not allowed? No counter opinions, and you're going to call somebody else authoritarianism? Come on now. Another attendee said judicial Democrats were also advised to avoid devolving into partisan mudslinging. That's impossible, folks. But this man has now ushered in the biggest fundamental change to U.S. government I believe this country has ever seen since its initiation. He is bringing it back to what it was intended to be, the great Republic of the United States of America. I told you it will not go without mistake. There will be mistakes made. But this is war, and there will be political casualties on both sides of the aisle. It's just beginning. This broadcast was to show you that the tip of the spear has just struck. It is what comes afterwards that we will happily cover for you in great detail, like we always do, to assure you are given all the news that matters. That's what we woke up to this morning. Boy, there is no shortage of news to report. We work hard to make sure we bring you everything that's important. We look forward to your comments below. Do you support what this man is doing? Speak out loud, because people need to know that he is heading in the right direction and your voice matters. We love you all. Until next time, Godspeed and God bless. Justice Knight, signing out.